I literally had a proposal business versus a design business. I used to send proposals all the time, a few a day. Now, that might sound great because it means I had so many leads and new potential clients, but my closing rate was not so great. So I wouldn't get almost any of my clients. Now, after I made some changes in my business and in my proposals, my closing rate is much, much higher. It's like 80%. And all thanks to my new workflow and my new proposals that work. Welcome to the Profitable Graphic Designer podcast. My name is Katie Sandel, and this episode was brought to you by Aventive Academy, an online business education platform that helps brand, graphic, and web designers get more clients, increase their pricing, and build a profitable design business. You can find out more about starting and growing your freelance design business at aventiveacademy.com. Instead of starting this episode with what to include in a proposal, I will start with when to send it to your potential clients, because so many designers have questions about the overall a workflow. In the past, I used to send proposals immediately. So as soon as someone would send me an email asking for a logo design or give me a call or whatever it is, I would send a proposal immediately with, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how much this project would cost you. And that is exactly what clients want to know, right? At least that's what I thought. I never wanted to waste their time and ask them for a call or for a meeting or something like that, because I thought that that would be a waste of time. And I thought that it's better for them to know the price immediately and the scope of work versus talking more about the project and about their design needs, because I assumed, and this is really important for me to say a couple of times, I assumed that they need one thing versus actually trying to explore and see what is that they really need. And I'll give you one example. So someone would come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for a logo design. How much is it? And then I would send a proposal with, this is how much logo is, without even thinking, have they ever gone through a brand strategy process? Do they know what their values are, mission, vision? Do we know their brand attributes? Like, how does that brand need to look and sound? Because adding brand strategy to the project, would cost more. So I never thought about adding brand strategy in the past. I never asked them, do you have your brand board? Do you have the colors? Do you have a font that you would like me to use? Do you already have a website, or maybe you need a website as well? And then, I would send a proposal that includes logo design only. But if they don't have colors, if they don't have fonts, that means that I'm the one developing the whole visual identity versus just the logo design. And when I say just the logo design, I know that logo design is something that, it's a longer process. It takes time to develop the right logo for the right company. But in this case, is just a logo design comparing to the full visual identity or brand development. And then, because I assumed that they need just the logo design because that's what they ask for, I would send them a proposal for logo design. But other designers would send them proposals for brand strategy, logo design, colors, typography, maybe even, labels or packaging designs, depending on if that company has products or services and so on. And maybe even adding website design. However, I would assume and send a proposal for something that is not their main focus, even though they ask for it. And then what happens, it happens that they tell me, hey, we found someone else who also provides this and that. And then when I tell them, but I provide that too, it's just too late because they already made the decision to go with another designer. And even if you are now thinking, but I provide just a logo design, that's fine. You still need to include things that they care about. And this is where we shouldn't actually focus on what we do and what we provide, but about what is that they really need and what is that they want to hear. So, for example, let's say you are a logo designer. So you do just logo designs, you don't deliver websites or content development or brand strategy or anything like that. So you're just a logo designer and you need to deliver logo design to your potential client. They still will want to know about the process. So that means that in the proposal that they would say yes to, they want to see the process. They want to see when and how long the calls are going to be, when you will send the contract, what's going to be the scope of work, how long it's going to take you to deliver the logo design, and how the process goes in terms of when do you do sketches, research, how many options you will provide, talk about revisions, and so on. So again, it's focused on them and not on you. So to go back to the question of when to send the proposal, the best is to send the proposal after you had an initial call with them or a meeting where you discovered the real problems that they have and the real things you need to solve for them. So again, if they ask for just a logo design, maybe that's not what they're really looking for. So you need to discover your client's needs before writing a proposal. And as mentioned in the past, I was I was like in the proposal business versus the design business because I used to send a lot of proposals every single day, which, it sounds great because I had a lot of leads, I had a lot of potential clients, but also I was getting a lot of no's, a lot. I think that my closing rate was, I would say now close to zero, but it wasn't that bad. Maybe 5 to 10%, but that, it takes a long time to send a proposal, even if you have like pre-packaged pricing. Let's say you charge $500 or $1,000 or whatever for a logo design, how much I used to charge in the past. And even though I would just adjust that pricing or adjust who I'm sending that proposal to or something like that, it still takes a very long time to communicate with a client over email, to adjust that proposal, save the file, send it, ask them if they have any questions, let them know that you can start, I don't know, in a week or two or immediately, and so on. That, it's still a lot of time that I could have used maybe promoting my business, maybe trying to get better clients or different clients, or improving my proposals, and so on. So instead of sending proposals immediately and just assuming that you know what they want, my advice is to always schedule a call or a meeting, and then after you discuss their design needs and timeline, and also budget, which is really important, and I'll talk about it in a second, then you actually go back to your computer or a laptop and write and send the proposal. So after they agreed to everything, then you send the proposal. During that call or meeting, you would ask them what their budget is, because you don't want to send a proposal for $500 if their budget was $5,000, and vice versa. Like, you don't want to send a proposal of $20,000 if their budget was $5,000. Then, it's just not the right fit. So why would you waste your time writing a proposal? And why would you waste your potential client's time going through the proposal and talking to you and so on if the budget simply doesn't match and you two are not the right fit to work together? And I know sometimes it's really hard to talk about numbers. And that's how I used to be as well, in a way where I would literally just ignore any questions pricing related. And I would always be like, oh, I'll send you an email. Oh, I need some time to figure things out. I need to look into how long it's going to take. I mean, so many different like excuses just so that we don't talk about numbers versus now where I know how much money I need to make and I know how much value I bring to the table. So I always now ask how much money do you have for this project? Like what is your budget? And then I'll see if that's the right fit or not. And I will be honest with them. Hey, $100 is not enough for a logo design. We charge $15,000. That includes that, and that. And nobody's offended. Nobody's wasting anyone's time. And it's just straight to the point. The same is with timeline. If they're looking for, let's say, a website or maybe packaging or something like that, and they want it in a week or two, or sometimes even a month, if it is too unrealistic, I would tell them, hey, this is not doable. Or maybe I can even deliver that, but I can't promise good product. So I don't want to work on this as that's just not enough time to deliver something quality. So after you've discussed timeline, scope of work, and budget, then you can tell them, if you would like me to, I can write a proposal to you and send it so that you can show it to the rest of your team or decision makers if they were not decision makers. Decision maker is basically someone who's going to approve or not approve your proposals. That can be a CEO or a business owner or an individual who you're going to work with, like a marketing manager or someone within a company if you do branding, website design, brand strategy, and so on. Most of the time, they will tell you, yes, please send us a proposal. However, you will know during that call or a meeting if you should send it or not. There were so many times where I wouldn't even offer to send them a proposal because it's just not the right fit. And then I don't want to waste my time writing proposal that they would say no to anyway. And this is where I explain why we are not the right fit and thank them for the call and let them know that if they adjust their timeline or budget or whatever it is, that they can always come back to me. Now, if we are on the same page, this is what I would include in the proposal. First, I would start with letting them know that we would love to work with them. So it's kind of like a welcome page. Thank you so much for contacting us. Then I would just mention what their goals are, what is that they're trying to achieve. So the things that they mentioned on the call, something like they would like to grow their business, they need to rebrand, they need a new website, or they're looking for a brand refresh where they're looking for new colors, fonts, and so on. So basically, I put their goals. Again, I am always now focused on them versus when in the past I was focused on me and talking just about, oh, this is what I provide. I mean, that's fine. It's great to say what you provide as well, but let's focus on their goals because that's what they care about. And then I would still include a short about section about my studio. What is that we do, who we work with, how we've helped clients in the past, maybe a couple of reviews or testimonials, and then short, like a small section with our portfolio, like case studies, just a few examples, because they still want to see the visuals you created for your past clients. It doesn't matter if they already saw your portfolio and they contacted you because of your portfolio and all that. They want to have it in the proposal so that they don't have to think like, oh, so this is the proposal from that designer, or maybe her portfolio was this one. Oh no, let me, like this, you actually remind them, this is our website, this is our company, this is our portfolio, and this is a proposal we created for you. From there, if you have a team of people, you would include your team, their names, photos, maybe short bio section, because your clients want to know who they will work with. If it's just you, then include that. Then you can basically merge about section and your bio because you are one woman or one man show. The next thing you want to include is the scope of work. So everything that you would work on and deliver. And here is very important to include what goes behind the scenes of designing something, and that is research, competitor analysis. Maybe we don't do like full competitor analysis like bankers would do when approving loans and things like that. But we still look into their competitors. We look for inspiration. We do sketches. We work in, Adobe Illustrator or whatever program you use. So I think that it's very, very important for the client to know because they don't know. And it's on us to educate them how a piece of design has been like developed because they see, so for example, for logo design, they see it just as, oh, this is a logo design. Cool, I need a logo design. But they don't see anything that goes in it before we present it to them. So adding scope of work in steps is very, very important. From there, you do want to include your timeline. So how long it takes for you to do research, how long it would take you to, work on sketches, then how long it would take. Maybe you don't have to go like in details, but basically you want to tell them that it will take you 2 weeks to do everything like in the background and then 2 weeks to actually put things together. And then, the scope of work would be a month. And again, you don't have to split that, but you can. And in my agency, we usually split everything into phases. So phase 1 would be brand strategy phase. Phase 2 would be visual identity phase. Phase 3 is usually labels, packaging, stationery, or whatever, more like focused on the graphic design. And then phase 4 is website design. And then from here, I would basically say it takes 4 weeks for phase 1, 4 weeks for phase 2, 6 weeks for phase 3, and 8 weeks for phase 4. And then I would give them basically start date and end date. So that's scope of work and timeline. And then after that goes pricing. And I give them the final price, where in the past, I used to give them price for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, versus now where I give them just the total. Now, I'll tell you why I don't give them like split pricing anymore, but just the total. And I'm sure you can guess it. It's because they would kind of like pick and choose what is that they think that they need. So they would go with, visual identity and maybe like packaging and the website, but then they would be like, well, maybe we don't need labels or we need something very simple. So they would try to negotiate with me. And they would tell me, we don't need a brand strategy. We already know what is that we provide. We already know who our competitors are. We know our values. We have our mission and vision. We can work on brand attributes and send it to you. And then they're literally trying to make the scope of work smaller, to pay me smaller, and to make everything like faster, which is not what I prefer. And it's just not what I want to do. And I don't think that I can deliver as great results as if I work on their brand strategy and then actually deliver something that I know can have bigger impact on their business. But it's just hard for me to explain that to them. And that's just that it's hard for me to explain, but they just don't understand. And even when you educate them, this is what you need, it still feels like I'm trying to convince them into something that they believe that they don't need. However, even after they understand, okay, we need a brand strategy, but can we maybe take this out or take that out? Like everyone else, like we do that as well. Let's say you want to, find a photographer to do your headshots, and they tell you, oh, I will provide 40 photos for $1,000. You're like, okay, can we do, and then let's say they say over 2 hours. And then you're like, oh, can we actually do an hour for 30 photos, $800? Kind of like you try to negotiate. Maybe not you, but you know what I mean. So to be able to kind of like escape that or like go around that, I just give them the final price. And so, for example, for brand strategy, visual identity, let's say a couple of labels, boxes, and the website, the price would be $30,000, and that's it. Then there's just like no room for them to negotiate. There are no questions asked because previously we already discussed the scope of work, timeline, budget, like everything. And then I just send them a proposal that I know they will say yes to. My proposals right now are 37 pages. So it does take time to actually create a proposal that I know that they will say yes to. However, now I already have the templates and it's just like amazing proposal that includes everything that clients need. And of course, I didn't come up with this proposal overnight. It took me 6-7 years and it's a very long time. But based on my experience, now I know exactly what clients want to see and what clients don't want to see, and even how to word it, like what sentences, how long they should be, what kind of paragraphs, if it should be in like bullet points or numbers. And even though it sounds like a lot, 37-page proposal, like, oh my God, it's so long. It's more like a presentation and it's easy to scroll through. So clients don't feel overwhelmed. They feel like they got the right amount of information in order to approve that proposal. Well, in the past, I used to have one-page proposal. Nothing wrong with that. But I think that that's not enough for someone to approve $20,000 or $30,000 project. So if you're sending one-page proposal, it's totally fine. If it's, let's say, just a logo design and you're charging $500, that's where I was at that time. However, I think that you still need to add a couple of pages where you can focus on the client and where you can talk about them, about their goals, what is that they need, like really, really focus on them and how you can help them achieve their goals. Because at the end of the day, clients are always asking themselves, like, what's in it for me? They're coming to you because of them, because of their needs, because they need help. So they are already focused on them. Don't change that. They don't care much about you or your services. They care about the goals that they will achieve after they work with you. And then one more thing, when it comes to proposals, graphic designers tend to over design them. And what I mean by that is they include their logo design to be huge, to, I don't know, maybe like showcase what they're capable of, which is totally fine. But again, focus shouldn't be on you. So they don't care about your logo as much as they care about the information that's in the proposal. They also don't care about you including 10 different colors, lots of different fonts. The simpler you can make your proposals, the better and easier will be for them to make the decision. A couple of years ago, I actually invested in my proposals a lot. I hired a copywriter, I hired a designer who made this amazing presentation, and that really helped me getting more clients, bigger clients, and growing my closing rate. So as mentioned in the past, our closing rate was, I don't know, like 5-10%. We were just writing proposals to hear no all the time. Now our closing rate is over 80%. At some point, like we would literally send a proposal and we get yes. Send the proposal, yes. Send the proposal, yes. To the levels where we were like, okay, we have to raise our rates and figure out how to go from here. Because if we continue getting this many clients, we will, scale faster than what our plan was. So yeah, investing in your proposals is so important. And Spend some time really developing ideal proposals that clients will say yes to. Now, if you don't have a lot of time, you can purchase our proposal template. So it's totally the same proposal that we use in my branding agency. And that is a 37-page proposal. It's mostly for people who want to book 10K plus clients. So it's not for, $1,000 projects or so on. It's mostly for bigger projects, better clients, growing your business, and making more money as a creative freelancer, as a graphic designer, brand, or web designer. And not because I made it, but I think it's really amazing. It's a proposal that I wish I had bought from someone in the past or something like that. It's just, I couldn't find anything like that. And even after I created this proposal, I still went on my competitors' websites and I bought some proposals and I still didn't find anything as good as my proposal. And I know this sounds like I'm bragging, and that's totally fine because I believe in this proposal so much. Every freelance designer can literally adjust this proposal based on their needs, and you will see it's to replace about section with your content, to add your portfolio, to add your scope of work. And if you don't have it defined, you can just use ours to adjust your workflow and process, like when and what you'll deliver to the clients and so on. You get everything to fill it in a way we use it to close more than 80% of our leads. You can find this proposal template on our website at aventivacademy.com. And I hope that this episode was helpful to you in case you want to create proposals on your own. See you next time. Thank you for joining us today on The Profitable Graphic Designer. If you enjoyed this episode, we would love if you would leave us a review. And don't forget to subscribe so you'll be the first to know when each episode drops and you'll never miss a future episode. We'll see you next time when we'll explore more topics like getting clients, increasing your rates, and growing your design business.